Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Seminole County Board of County Commission meeting. The date is April 8th, 2025. The time is approximately 9:30. If you take a few moments and make sure that your telephones and any other electronic devices are silenced so we don't have interruptions while the presentations are occurring today. With us today, we have Pastor Bob Melhorn, who is going to perform the invocation. And when that's completed, I will ask Commissioner DeLaurie to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Good morning, everyone. It is a privilege to be here. Let's join our hearts in prayer. O Holy One, we thank you for the gift of this day. How precious is time. And we thank you and ask you would guide us in using these hours wisely. As we approach this important meeting, we are mindful that we live in two realms. We live in a realm of budgets and agenda and zoning and development and all the considerations that ordinarily come before this commission. But also we live in a different realm, a realm of aspirations and dreams and concerns for our families and visions of what a community is and can be. And so as we move into a season that's holy for more than one of the great faiths, we would ask that you would keep us mindful of our higher visions as well. I would ask your blessing upon these commissioners. We thank you for sending them to serve this county. We ask your blessing upon the sheriff and his deputies, upon our firefighters and first responders. We pray for all the employees of this county and for all who make Seminole County their home. I ask these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Commissioner DeLaurie. Next up is our consent agenda item. I will move to the county attorney, Ms. Kate LaTorre, for the rules of engagement during the consent agenda. If you would desire to speak on any of the consent agenda items, please gather a speaker's form out in the lobby, fill it out for the agenda item you desire to speak on. Give it to Ms. Dominique, the clerk, right down here with her hand raised, and we'll make sure you get called up when those items come forward. Ms. LaTorre?
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning. Florida law provides the members of the public shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard on propositions before the Board of County Commissioners, except when the board is acting on emergency or ministerial matters or conducting a meeting exempt from the requirements of the Sunshine Law. Individuals shall be permitted 3 minutes each for public comment or 6 minutes when the individual is an official representative of a formal association or group. The chairman may modify the maximum time for public comment at his sole discretion when appropriate. Public comments on quasi-judicial or other public hearing items will occur during the board's consideration of those items this afternoon. Public comments on pending procurement matters or on non-agenda items shall not be permitted at this time. Members of the public desiring to make public comment must fill out a speaker form and present the form to staff. Forms are available in the lobby. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. LaTorre. I want to note that Commissioner Herr is not here this morning, but we do have a quorum. She had a conflict this morning and will be joining us as soon as possible. I will go to the county manager. Is there any changes or updates in the consent agenda, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Just one item that we are actually going to pull off, number 5, the proclamation with Water Conservation Month here in Seminole County, and I believe Commissioner Constantine is going to read that. So that is the only change to the consent.
Thank you, sir. Any commissioner desire to pull any items at this point? Seeing none, I will go to public input. Madam Dominique, do we have anyone here to speak on any of the consent agenda items today?
No, sir.
Seeing none, we'll close public input and go to board action.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner DeLaurie.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda items with constitutionals 1 through 17, excluding 5.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign. Carries unanimously. Thank you very much. We will now go to item number 5, proclamation for water conservation.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, and
I'll need a motion first to approve.
Well, he's making the motion as he reads it.
yeah, it's
Okay,
kind of a
go.
question. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I did want to welcome the Water Conservation Board, and hopefully you'll still exist after the legislative session. But this is also, folks, a very important thing in water conservation. We in Seminole County have been a leader in trying to protect and save our water resources, and it is valuable that all of us pitch in and work together for it. So it is my privilege to make a motion to approve the proclamation of Seminole County Board of County Commissioners proclaiming the month of April 2025 as the Water Conservation Month in Seminole County. Whereas water is basic and essential need of every living creature, and whereas the state of Florida and the water management districts and the Seminole County Board of County Commissioners have worked together to increase awareness about the importance of water conservation, and whereas Seminole County and the state of Florida have designated April, which is typically a dry month when the water demands are most acute, as the Florida Water Conservation Month, for the purpose of educating citizens about how they can help save Florida's precious water resource. And whereas Seminole County has always encouraged and supported water conservation throughout various educational programs and special events. And whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can make a difference when it comes to conserving water to promote a healthy economy and community. And whereas Seminole County is calling upon each citizen and business to help protect our precious resource by practicing water-saving measures and becoming more aware of the need to save water. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Seminole County that we do hereby proclaim the month of April 2025 as Water Conservation Month in Seminole County.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Seeing none. Carries unanimously. Congratulations. Thank you all very much. Before we move to our regular agenda, we are going to take a short break and give photograph opportunities to those proclamation awards before we move into the regular agenda. So we'll call you up one at a time and get photos taken with staff and the commission. So those that are here that desire to stick around for that, please do. If not, please enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll ask the commission to join me on the floor. that? Who was that?
Put a nameplate up here that that person's no longer with us,
Oh,
and someone keeps putting it up here
oh, geez.
in front of Kate.
What's that?
Here it is.
They don't? Yeah. I'll call them up in just a minute. So, we're going to give these award winners, proclamation winners, a moment to speak at the podium. Let's call, first up, let's call the Miss Laverne Montez for Autism Acceptance Month. If you'd come up to the podium and have a few words with us, please. Right here to your right.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you.
We are members of Zeta Phi Beta Incorporated, Sorority Incorporated, and we're the Chi Phi Zeta chapter of Seminole County. And we appreciate you taking time to approve and accept our proclamation for Autism Awareness Acceptance Month. We're big proponents for autism and finding early detection and getting care for kids, but we appreciate you as a chapter, and thank you so much for getting this approved for us.
Well, thank you all very much for being here and the work that you do in our community. We sincerely appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up, from Kids House, Miss Melissa Winstead.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing Kids House to be the recipient of this proclamation. It means the world to us that we're raising awareness about child abuse prevention. So thank you very much.
Thank
We
you for
appreciate
being
it.
here. Thank you for all the
Thank
work
you.
you're doing. Appreciate it. Very good. Next up, we'll have from the St. John's Water Management District, Miss Deidre Irwin.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, thank you for allowing me to speak today. I am the Water Conservation Coordinator for the Central Florida Water Initiative region, and we have partnered with the American Water Works Association, celebrating April as Water Conservation Month for 27 years. Seminole County has been on that path with us. We would like to thank you for all the really outstanding efforts in the past, and we are very much looking forward to what lies ahead with water conservation in Seminole County. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate the collaboration. All right, next we will move to our regular agenda items. This will be item number 18, Springs Concert for Residents Special Event Permit. This will be presented by Ms. Kathy Hamill. Good morning, Ms. Hamill.
Good morning, sir. I'm presenting a request for a special event for the Springs Concert, which will be on May 3rd from the hours between 7 and 10. The concert will be at the Springs Clubhouse porch, which overlooks a small field in their common area. The concert will be only for the residents only, who will park at their own homes or any available parking spaces at the clubhouse. They are anticipating 400 residents or community members to attend the concert by the Central Florida Community Arts Group, who will perform songs from the 60s to the 90s. They have complied with all the requirements for a sheriff's deputy, insurance, bathrooms, bear-proof containers, and fire requirements. We are requesting for the Board of County Commissioners to approve this special event permit for May 3rd, subject to staff's recommendations included in the attached special event permit. And I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great. Any questions for staff at this moment? Is the applicant here and desire to make any comments or statements before the board? And just your name and address for the record, sir.
Asher Wildman, 400 Woodbridge. This is weird, taking questions from you guys. No, we're looking forward to it. As you guys know, the Philharmonic was in our community for a number of years. They decided to look for a new location, so this was an opportunity that we wanted to bring to our community and our residents to have something that we can call the Springs Concert again.
Great. Any questions for the applicant? Commissioner Constantine.
I would not give up this opportunity to ask
morning,
a
Lee.
question. Good morning, my dear friend. I'm glad to see that you all have taken the initiative in going ahead and going to do something for your citizens, because as you know, a lot of them were going to miss the Springs concert. And by the way, it was wonderful last weekend, both Friday and Saturday, big crowds over at the Crane's Roost. The one question has already been answered, but I have to ask you, because you're selling tickets and you're not a 501c, you are going to be paying sales tax to the state of Florida, correct?
Uncle Sam will get his share.
Well, Uncle Sam, the state of Florida, and Seminole County needs your share.
They will get it.
We don't know how much the sales tax is going to be.
Right.
Thank you very
good.
much, Allison.
Thank you, Asher, for being here. We sincerely appreciate it. Is there anyone here from the public that wishes to make a comment on this item?
No, sir.
All right, we'll close the public comment portion and move to board action. This is Commissioner Constantine's district. Commissioner?
Yes, I will move approval of the special permit for the Springs at May 3rd, as recommended by the staff.
Second.
Motion by Constantine, second by Delary. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign? Seeing none, carries unanimous. Congratulations, and thank you very much. Next item up is number 19, Economic Development Update. This will be presented by Guy Cunha, our Economic and Development and Tourism team. Welcome, sir.
For the record, Guy Cunha, Director of Economic Development and Tourism. So before we begin today, commissioners and leadership, I'd like us to recognize all the partners within the economic development team that showed up in support. One of the things that our team want to make sure everyone understands is these are not the partners that we call on and ask us, why are we doing this? These are the partners that say, why not? These are the partners that answer the phone after 5 o'clock. These are the ones that show up before 8 a.m. So I wanted to make sure our team recognizes all the partners that are here that help keep Seminole County economic development a very vibrant and strong department. So outlining our agenda today, we're going to bring up our Economic Development Manager, Irma Stenman. She'll discuss the big business portion, where we're going to look at our largest employers, incentives in Seminole County, our largest partner agreement, which is with the Orlando Economic Partnership, and some of our strategies regarding foreign direct investment and relations. Then, although mistitled by me, our business marketing manager, Esteban Saldarriaga, will come up to discuss small business and entrepreneurship, incubators, small business resources, and also the Industrial Development Authority that we know we brought in-house now. And then I'll wrap us up with workforce development. But overall, the concept that we should take from here is within Seminole County, and this comes from my athletics background, we have a program. There's a rhyme and reason for everything. There's an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur in Seminole County, we have the resources to develop your idea. As a small business owner, we have the resources to scale your small business. And as a large business owner or corporation or headquarters that we have here, we have all the information and resources needed to either import, export, scale, work within the community as well. So leading into our business profile, reflective, we're using the quarterly census employment and wages. We're looking at a reflection here on the percentage of businesses per industry and percentage of employment per industry. So we are large professional science and technical services, construction, healthcare and social assistance, retail, and then we go into hospitality. This top 5 is reflective of last year and the previous year as well. Here's our bread and butter, is our unemployment rate. We have historic lows since the pandemic. There is a seasonal approach, as you see here. Unemployment within the entire state tends to tick up during the summer and then come back down during the fall and winter months. what you'll see is we have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the entire state of Florida. This is where Seminole County has always thrived. We do not have a labor force that sits on the sidelines here in Seminole County. When we transition here, this is a very interesting slide. The establishments by business size, 90% of our registered businesses in Seminole County have 25 employees or less. We're a small business haven. But of the 10% of the businesses, of the 10% of the large businesses, this is over 25 employees, so 26 or more, they employ more than 70% of our labor force. So there is a balance that we have to maintain in Seminole County. Here's a very comprehensive slide. Sorry, we tried to put all in one slide here. We see that we are mainly led on the green there when we look at the number of businesses by professional, scientific, and technological services. That's the number of businesses is the largest within the county, but also we look at a very large employment and a high average annual wage. When you talk about the leading businesses in any county, that's the balance you want to see leading the way. Another candle that we want to look at there on the line graph, the orange portion, is that $102,000 average annual wage. That is for our headquarters. So as we know, certain portions of the county is a haven for headquarter development, and that's where you'll see that spike in average annual wage. In our next graph here, we want to touch on the average annual wage. As a benchmark, the Florida average annual wage is $61,000. So when we look at our businesses that employ 26 or more employees, these aren't low-paying businesses. These are at average annual wage or above. That's where you want to see your strategy, and you'll see that reflected in our household income as well. So just giving us a summary here towards the end before we move on to the large business portion. One of the lowest unemployment rates in the entire state, one of the strongest labor forces, as we're seeing our labor force at 280,000. It's historically high within Seminole County. We have over 20,000 registered businesses. And we see here, when it comes to our largest concentration of businesses, it falls under the professional, scientific, and technical services industry, which is a high-paying industry. So with that, I'd like to introduce our Business Development Manager, Irma Stedman, who's going to discuss big business incentives, the Orlando Economic Partnership, and our foreign relations.
He's too tall. Good morning. For the record, Irma Stedman, Business Development Manager in Economic Development. When we talk about big business, Guy alluded to those who have 25 or more, or maybe those who have 50 or more employees, which is not the SBA definition of big business. So when we catalog and figure out, look at who are our largest employers and dissect in private sector and public sector. So everybody will talk about how public schools is our largest employer in the public sector side. In the private sector side, you'll see Advent Health as our largest employer. And it's not just the hospitals and emergency rooms and assisted living facilities, but also their headquarters is located in Seminole County. So there's a lot of administrative functions that are in Seminole County for Advent Health. And their NAICS code may vary because of those things from time to time. Also, you see a large presence in the large employers in healthcare, with Orlando Health and HCA adding to that. Others in the financial services and insurance are also in our top employers list, Deloitte, JP Morgan, and there's a number of others that we can discuss. Now, this data comes from a number of sources, and these numbers are rounded up because sometimes the source may have variance on what one list reports another, Data Axle, DNB, Hoover's, Dun & Bradstreet, Hoover's, the OBJ list of largest employers, QCEW, and we want to protect privacy and also information that we receive directly from the companies. What you don't see here is those companies that have a large number of employees disseminated through their various retail facilities, such as Publix or Walmart, which may have 2,000, 3,000 employees among 40 to 60 facilities. So we're just looking at other types of industries. Now, when we're talking about our incentives, Seminole County has one incentive program to attract and help grow our businesses, and that is the Jobs Growth Incentive that you guys approve for those businesses that qualify, that are in the specific industry that allows them to qualify for that, with the average wages above our average, with a number of jobs and a certain capital investment that they commit to. Those are our most recent projects that we have been awarded. That, as you can see, one has been forfeited, and this is interesting to highlight. This is a performance-based incentive. If they do not hold to their end of their agreement, they will not receive the incentive that has been approved. And not only hold on to creating the jobs and the investment, but also holding on to those jobs for a minimum of 2 years. So it is something that 22% of those approved incentives since 2013 have not been materialized. So it's money that comes back to us. And on the state level, we have remaining one QTI, Qualified Target Industry incentive, still on the books that we're finishing paying off. The QTI was discontinued by the Florida State Legislature in 2020, and it's also performance-based and also audited, and after they have created the jobs, then by job creation phase, then these dollars are awarded. Now, as far as our partners in economic development, our largest partner for business attraction and helping our businesses grow is the Orlando Economic Partnership, who has been here with us for a number of years. So they report to us about the region, because they represent 3 counties in the region, but they report the regional numbers, but also specifically to Seminole County. And these are some of the results of what they have worked on. They have impacted the job creation and these wages for Seminole County in the last few years. They also have a pipeline as they market Seminole County for business growth, for new businesses to come in. They have a number of projects in their pipeline. If these 45 projects for Seminole County were to materialize, that'll be about 8,000 jobs. Of course, that is inquiries, and some of these projects also take time. Some projects might take 3-4 years to come to fruition. Some of the things that OEP helps us with is not just the job numbers and the wages and that investment, but there's also other initiatives. But when it comes to those traditional projects, I'm going to mention 2 that most recent that are of importance to mention. Project Hub was the expansion of BNY Mellon Bank here in Seminole County in Lake Mary with another 1,100 jobs. And that was a year or so ago, and high average wages over $90,000 a year. Large capital investment in their office space as well. Project Pencil has a JGI approved that you saw on the previous slide, which is exam room AI, was they relocated, creating 250 jobs for Seminole County, also high wages. So those are the kinds of projects that we look up to. And as I mentioned, there are other initiatives that OEP also works with us. One is they started the Economic Development Committee, where there's a number of leaders from the region looking at how do we bring more companies to the Orlando area, to Seminole County, and using everybody's connections to develop those to create more leads. Also, the Development Initiative for Regional Transformation, or DIRT, it's looking at sites. As all our land gets utilized and developed, then we have to be more strategic about the best and highest use of the land that's available for whether it's what is going, and from our perspective, what is usable for business development, for new business or business growth. So this is a strategic look at what is the land that's there and what does the county want to market? What does the county want the world to know that is available for that kind of development? I didn't mention also there's a regional economic development team where economic developers from all over the region gather on a monthly basis to exchange best practices and learn from one another. Now, when talking about foreign direct investment and relations, of course, we are keenly interested in attracting any kind of business, but those that come from international have different needs, and we have to look at those as well. So we work for international relations with World Orlando, which they are this U.S. Department of State sponsor or host for the International Visitor Leadership Program, the IVLP, bringing from a number of nations overseas members from government, academia, nonprofit, and local businesses who want to learn from our community how to do business as well. Foreign trade zone and managed by the Orlando Sanford International Airport. Now it has been for a number of years considered one of the largest because of the number of acreage that is available to that foreign trade zone. We are working closely with Orlando Sanford International Airport Authority to develop and market it more, because especially now with tariffs coming to play, our local manufacturers are more interested in seeing how, if they're going to be re-exporting products, they can defer some of those tariffs. Also, for that foreign direct investment, attracting businesses from overseas that want to just explore the market, not put a large investment without knowing how it's going to pan out, want to start slow. And Esteban is going to mention this a little bit later, but the soft landing, international soft landing, provides that platform for these companies to start slow and ramp up their business. So we are increasing our soft landing presence here in Seminole County. The Center for International Trade Office is part of the National Entrepreneur Center, also providing that kind of assistance to companies who want to do business internationally, import, export. What is the role that tariffs are going to play on my business? How can I do that? How can I grow my business through international involvement? And now Esteban is going to touch on some of those. Esteban Saldarriaga, my colleague. Take it off.
The name's so good you have to say it twice. Good morning, everyone. For the record, Esteban Saldarriaga, Business Marketing Manager for Seminole County Economic Development. I don't have any pie charts or pyramids. Guy and Irma took them all. I asked for one, but I didn't get one, so no big deal. We're going to dive right into the incubators. And I think what's most important here is I think we can all see the return on investment, the occupancy of the current occupancy of the incubators. What I'd like to highlight is really an understanding of what these incubators specialize in and expanding a little bit more on Seminole State College Center for Business Development. So starting with the incubator in Winter Springs from UCF, what I'll point to is if you look at that incubator client profile, much of what's housed in the incubator at Winter Springs is high-tech technology companies, innovation, everything going from sustainable tech to cancer research. When we move over to the Seminole State College Center for Business Development, that's more, if we refer back to the slide that Guy shared at the beginning, around that 16% of professional scientific services that make up the county's largest business segment. That's really what service over at the Center for Business Development. Now, we have it listed under incubators because it's really one of its primary functions is to house early startup businesses, companies that are looking for cheap lease space to have as overhead. But really, the services expand to so much more. The fact that the Center for Business Development, the Small Business Development Center is housed at that incubator tells you exactly that point. Most of the county's small business interest gets filtered through that area. And as Idema mentioned just a moment ago, this is also the space where we've, for the first time, had a collaborative effort to bring soft landing to the Seminole State College Heathrow campus. A lease that starts on May 1st. We expect to house 5 soft landing companies from overseas. And as Idema alluded to, these are really incredible opportunities because these are not startups. These are not traditional in the sense that they don't need capital. They don't need marketing support. What they need is an entry point to U.S. markets, which we'll be able to provide from our county. When we look at the small business resources, this is really kind of on the support side of our ecosystem for business support. And, you know, as you can see, we listed some really clear indicators for community engagement. What I want to emphasize is a few details that aren't listed here. So for MACF, the Manufacturers Association of Central Florida, one of the benefits that they've allowed our team to have is access to our local manufacturers. Thanks to the efforts of that team, we've been able to connect more deeply with the needs of the manufacturers, understand what the makeup is of manufacturing in Seminole County, and engage them differently. You know, one of the benefits has been that we heard them loud and clear, and we're able to partner with organizations like the Central Florida International Trade Office and offer a trade tariff workshop that we hosted at the Economic Development Hub in Heathrow, which that's a planned series, so we can see how far that expands. When we look at Prospera's impact, Prospera is really one of the few multilingual business support organizations out there, right? So they're able to capture quite a broad audience because they're not just supporting business clients that are coming in English, it's the non-English speakers as well. One of the highlights that I want to make sure I mention for Prospera is through partnership we have entered an understanding that they will be hosting orientations for their future clients out of the Economic Development Hub in Heathrow. I've mentioned the hub a few times because it really, what this is turning into now is a true hub where our community business owners will be able to interact with not only the direct organizations that they're working with, but also our team and any team that is working out of that space, which is at this point all of our partners. The National Entrepreneurship Center, one of the biggest highlights here that I'd like to make is the rebranding of what used to be Bisling Orange, that is now Bisling Central Florida. It's taking on a broader name and allowed us to be more regionally represented. It is a wonderful tool that I'd like to kind of just quickly share with you what those 60 residents of Seminole County have gone through in their experience. So when you go on to cflbisling.com, you'll actually enter some of your business data. Entity type, what kind of business you're in. In some cases, it'll ask you specific industry codes to kind of give a little more information on that end. And within 3 business days, I received mine a whole lot faster. I don't know if it's because I know somebody there, but you know, it was real cool. But you'll get an email outlining all the resources, and not just resources, but regional specific resources that you can call. So tying it back to why it's so important that we have the Small Business Development Center at the Center for Business Development, man, I like the acronyms a lot better, trust me, is that email will link them back to being able to book an appointment with a consultant right here in Seminole County. In addition to that, at the end of the email, it also outlines a few events that you can go to that are little to no cost. You know, things like marketing tools, how to better use AI, ChatGPT, a slew of resources that our small business owners can take advantage of. Whoa, almost gave up. The Industrial Development Authority. So before I go into the only chart I got, no, I'm just kidding. I want to give a quick background of SCIDA, of the Seminole County Industrial Development Authority. For 15 years, over 15 years, this was managed by the Orlando Economic Partnership. You know, they manage a few of the region's industrial development authorities. As of October last year, we brought that in-house and is now managed by staff. I am the secretary for that authority. Edma Stenman is the assistant secretary for that authority. And what we did in that time frame was really reestablish the board and in time to close on our first bond that benefited the county directly. And I'll share more on this next slide. So what you see here is 15 years of projects from the Seminole County Industrial Development Authority, ranging from 2010 to last year, 2024. There's a few things that I want to point out to. Number one being the capital expenditures. You'll see that most of these capital expenditures are above $10 million. The reason being is that when we are looking for attraction for the use of an industrial revenue bond, the sweet spot is really at that $10 million mark where we're able to justify, or I would say the borrower is able to justify the legal fees, bond fees, origination fees that come along with closing on a loan like this. The second thing I want to point to is the fees collected. So if we do the quick math, it's just under $1 million that were collected through 2021. All of those fees were directly paid to the Orlando Economic Partnership. With the first one, with the last deal in 2024 with Phase 2 of Galileo being the first direct revenue for the county. What this allows us to do, taking it on in-house, is now create specific direct marketing for our industrial revenue bonds to targeted industries. There we go. And so what you see up on the screen here is actually the first Seminole County branded collateral for an industrial revenue bond. We are really proud of this work and what we're going to be able to attract using it. But this tool will allow us to give basically the nuts and bolts of what an industrial revenue bond is, how to use it, how you're eligible for it, most importantly, how to contact us, the economic development team here at Seminole County, to help push that along. I've listed 3 specific channels that we're going to be using for the next year to market the IRBs, the industrial revenue bonds. Trade and industry publications, Florida Trend Magazine and Florida Economic Development Council / Business Trend Magazine. These are all very specific to get to the audience that we want. Site selectors, targeted industries like hospitality, manufacturing, healthcare, all read these magazines. I'm sure most of us get these in the office, and sometimes we'll just read the headlines, and if it's interesting, we'll open up the first page. But for industry types, this is something that is constantly being referenced to. So when we're on the field and we're having conversations with manufacturers, I can't tell you how many times articles from trade and industry are referred to us as information that they find valuable. So again, this is the first time we are marketing the Seminole County Industrial Development Authority in the history of its time. The last piece that I'll add to this is not listed here, but our week-to-week practice is that our team reviews the Development Review Committee agendas for both the county and the city and conduct outreach to find out if there's any projects there that are in a space where an industrial revenue bond can help that project be funded. We've had multiple conversations, mostly on the education side, but as we continue to market this, we expect those conversations to increase in volume. And with that, I will bring Guy back up to the podium. Thank you.
So just to summarize there, the Orlando Economic Partnership had the rights to the industrial revenue bonds. It was a separate agreement that sunset. This was not tied to the master services agreement with Orlando Economic Partnership. Workforce development, we're going to discuss our funded workforce programs. One of the main caveats here tied to soft landing is, although we're bringing these established foreign companies to Seminole County, the caveat for these companies and Seminole State College and UCF are all on board, is to prioritize the Seminole County workforce. Their investment in the county, we have the talent here, so we expect them to hire here. One of our 2 funded workforce programs, Career Source Central Florida, we had the youth program. These are all Seminole County resident specific that's being funded. We had the youth program. We did a couple years with Career Source. It was our first funding of Career Source on top of the office that they have in Sanford. We also just approved last BCC meeting, the Public Sector Academy. That's 3 cohorts. There's a youth cohort and 2 adult cohorts where we're looking at exposure and recruitment to in-demand occupation. And then Seminole State College, Seminole State Commits is your soft skills and hard skills development program. We're seeing over 300 residents have already been assisted in finding skills for them to be employable, better employable, and also 40 workshop and courses. Both the Public Sector Academy with Career Source and Seminole State College term at the end of September, so we will have those final reports in October. And closing remarks here, our team every year does a yearly review of FY24 and 25. We looked at the FY24, and we always position ourselves on whether we have headwinds or tailwinds. So compared to FY24, we reduced over $500,000 in non-renewable agreements because of the prioritization for the county on certain deliverables within performance indicators that matter to us. The better paying jobs and the high wage industry sectors maintaining that balance. All that while our economic development team. The tourism team did get a lot of exposure during Tourism Improvement District. I would be remiss if I didn't say that Irma and Esteban played vital roles in all the research that was conducted in order to get the Tourism Improvement District through and approved by the hoteliers. So within our entire Department of Economic Development and Tourism, we continue to prioritize the rural boundary, we continue to produce for the county, and we continue to make Seminole County, when it comes to business, Florida's natural choice. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone here from the public to speak on this matter?
No, sir.
Seeing none, I will go to board for any inquiries or comments. Commissioner Lockhart, will start at your end and move this direction.
Excellent presentation. Thank you all both, or all y'all.
All y'all.
All y'all. I have long been asking a very specific question that I think is freaking people out. So I'm going to try to ask a different question and maybe get the answer I'm looking for by asking the question differently. So we have this workforce pipeline. We're very proud of our K-12, higher ed, workforce development continuum here in Seminole County. And we assert regularly that we anticipate we're producing this workforce for you, so when you come here, hire our people. And I've yet to find the data from these companies that backs up that they are in fact hiring our people. And so I look at that not just as a county commissioner who is being asked for money, Seminole County taxpayer money, to incentivize these positions, but also as a trustee at Seminole State College, are we in fact producing what it is we think we're producing, right? So I'm looking at it from an accountability metric for us locally, as well as accountability on the part of the employer for, are you doing what you said you were going to do? So the question that I've been asking is, of your 2,000 employees, how many are working remotely versus driving their car to Seminole County, buying lunch here, buying their gas here, maybe picking up something at ABC liquor store on the way home, I don't know, depending on how the day went.
Don't forget Total Wines.
Or Total Wine,
Let's be fair.
that's true. Got to spread the wealth.
Now you got to start good.
I know, now I got to start naming all the liquor stores. Which I could do, by the way. But when you look at some of these employers and their thousands of employees that we have incentivized, the question that I've asked is how many of them, of course, are actually here in person, how many are hybrid or remote or what have you, and how many of those are here on H-1B visas? Mm-hmm. And I've been asking that question for years, and I've been ignored for years. So maybe what I need to do is ask the question differently and say, what data do you keep that tells me how many employees you have hired that are, we'll call them native, right? You went to Seminole County Public Schools, or you graduated from Seminole State College or UCF or somewhere regionally to show that this now employee was a product of this workforce development
Program.
petri dish that we've created, right? So maybe I'm asking the wrong question, but I want the answer. And so, and it's, I'm not putting this on you. I'm sending it out to the ether for all the people who have been ignoring me for years, asking us for money. I'm not voting to give you any money anymore until you give me the answer. So,
Okay.
that's that.
Commissioner Constantine?
That's a great question. That's all I'm going to say. It's a great question. Other than, because I asked a very similar question earlier about, do you have actual data that shows that these programs are successful? Wasn't as complex as what my fellow commissioner asked, but specifically, when you're dealing with the incubator. So let's go on to something else. I just felt that I am very, from what was when I first got here to what is today, I want to compliment all of you. Really doing a great job. Secondly, when it comes to incentives, I've always been a critic of many of the incentives that we were giving. I remember one of the first ones I voted against was somebody was in DeBerry and they wanted to come across the river, and I said, "Are you kidding me?" But frankly, I think that we have now got a handle on that, and I am, and I'm very impressed with the work that you and your staff are doing.
Commissioner Delory.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Guy, your staff do a phenomenal job, and first, let's celebrate that. It's always great to have not just a workforce here, but a group of folks that live, work, and play in Seminole County and help feed that economic engine. And we all know the economic engine that really feeds not just our county, but the entire economy is small businesses. And like or not, government doesn't really create jobs. It's the small business people that do. And so the people who put their equity on the line, all the efforts that they do, my hat goes off to them, because day in and day out, you never know what the economy is going to be, so we need to celebrate that. And you're hearing from my other commissioners, their questioning are valid. The one question that I've asked in the past, and have not really spoke about it that much, is that when we do give incentives to individuals, and they're warranted, most of them are, and how long do they stay here? Maybe a different way to ask the question, because I know of a couple of companies that have left. We don't talk about those, because by talking about those, we can actually figure out what we're not doing. And I know of one company that we actually gave incentives to a number of years ago, and they did quite well. They took their company internationally. They have the patent and the technology to hold on to that patent, because they were challenged several times. And now they moved outside the county to neighboring counties. And so it'd also be nice to look at some of those short-term wins, but what could we have done to help them stay here longer? But from what you've been talking to us, from what we've been doing, from what I'm hearing from the public, we have a lot to celebrate. Your staff does a phenomenal job. And it's not just the three of you that are here, because there's even more people in the office. And there's more people behind the people in the office that's here in the audience as well. So we have a lot to celebrate. So I want to thank you for all the things that you've done and all the things that you will do. So congratulations. But it'd be nice to peel back that onion to see what can we do better to address Commissioner Lockhart's concerns, to address, how do we keep companies here longer and grow the economy. So well done.
Guy, thank you very much. Keep up the great work you and your staff are doing. In my opinion, fantastic work. Keep up moving us forward. We appreciate it very much. Thank you. Thank you all very much back there that are part of that team. We appreciate it. Great. Next item up, it will be item number 20, electronic public notices update. This will be put on by Ms. Melanie Kuntz, Assistant County Manager.
There's a phone up here.
Someone left a phone behind.
You might need that.
Brent, I would sell it, make some money.
Get some revenue. Good morning, Commissioners, Chairman. My name is Melanie Kuntz, Assistant County Manager. In September, well, let me go over the agenda. So we're going to review some of the findings from the September 10th meeting of last year. Provide you, this is electronic public notices, by the way, sorry, I didn't mention that. We're going to talk about the costs, counties that are currently using notices, options, and then their recommendation. So on September 10th, we came to the board and we shared with you a summary of the new legislation for Florida statutes 50.0311 and 50.041, which allows counties to advertise public notices on their homepage rather than using print advertisements. Additionally, we provided the annual cost, which was approximately $70,000 for both board departments, BCC departments, and the tax collector for his delinquent taxes. And we shared with you the counties that were currently using it. So from that point on, you directed us to go do an RFP and to come back and bring the results. So that's why we're here today. we created the scope of service, and the RFP was released in, I think it was in December, and the results came back in January. And we had 2 respondents. We found that the pricing sheet needed to be a little bit clarified, and I think one was found non-responsive because they completed the wrong form. So we canceled that RFP, clarified the request for how we wanted the pricing done, and put it back out on the street. At that point, it was in January. We have the results back, and we have reviewed the responses, and the purchasing is prepared to put something on the consent agenda should the board decide to go that way. So again, the costs remain somewhat the same. These were the costs in 2023, and I believe they're approximately still the same. And at that time when we came to you last year, we had 6 counties that were using it, and now we have 18 counties. They use both in-house software as well as they outsource. And lastly, the options still remain the same. We can continue to use print advertisement. We could create something in-house, a software database, or we could outsource. And there's the advantages and disadvantages that you see on the slides. So staff is recommending outsourcing and hosting digital media advertisements on the public hearing notices on the county's webpage, and bringing the RFP award to the board on April 22nd. This concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Sure. Is there anyone here from the public to speak on this matter?
No, sir.
Okay, then we will go back to the board. We'll start Commissioner Lockhart and move our way down for any questions or inquiries.
Do we have any idea if any of the cities or the constitutionals are interested in utilizing this, or the school board?
I think when we last asked, the last time, there was some interest. The one interesting opportunities for us is that we can advertise, once we open it up, if the board decided to do this, we would have to then open it up to the cities. We can charge them at a reduced rate and be a revenue to assist with help paying for the cost of outsourcing. And one of the firms that was actually one of the criteria, that we had them to be able to bill the city, so we didn't have to.
Okay.
But there were several that were interested, as well as the tax collector was really interested.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to turn this into a revenue generator, but if there's a way to share the cost of
Exactly.
it, I think that would be ideal. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Constantine.
We've heard this numerous times. I think we finally have focused it, narrowed it down, and I support the recommendation.
Mr. Delory.
No comments at this time. As I've heard from my other commissioners, we've talked about this a number of times. We have the information. It's time to put it on the agenda and make a decision.
I as well support moving forward. The only caveat I would ask staff to consider is, when we ultimately go down this road, that we do publish in the existing print media that we are moving to a digital platform.
And there is an annual requirement that you do that as well. We would have to continue to let the public know where they can find these ads.
Good work. Thank you
Okay.
very much. This has
Thank
been
you.
a long time coming since the legislature allowed us to do this, so thank you very
Thank
much.
you. All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you all. All right, we will remain in recess until 1:30 this afternoon.
It's just a real quick, 2 things. One, I like the idea of outsourcing just because there's already a company that knows how to do this, and a lot of counties are using them. And the archive piece in this is very good. I mean, you can go and research stuff and look, and it's very difficult to do sometimes that in the print media, so it's very good on this. And the second one, if I could get a motion on the recommendation, and then we will then bring that RFP back on the next board meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I will move the recommendation to be put on a consent agenda in the near future.
Got a motion, I'm looking for a second.
Second,
We'll schedule it for the next one, if that's.
I just want to give them
Motion second.
flexibility.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign? Seeing none, carries unanimously. Anything else, Mr. County Manager?
No, sir, thank you.
Madam County Attorney?
Build them up.
Nothing else? We'll remain in recess to 1:30. Thank you.
Sure these things.